On April 26, 2026, last month, in Efuru, Delta State, Nigeria, a 28-year-old man, Mene Ogidi, was gruesomely shot and killed by the Nigerian police. The incident involved Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP Nuru Usman, who allegedly shot Mene multiple times at the Ekpan police station in broad daylight, while incapacitated Nigerians watched helplessly. No one could defend Mene. No one could stop the mad gun-toting superintendent. No, they couldn't be stopped. Not once, not twice, severally. He shot somebody's child. He executed somebody's child in broad daylight without trial. This is the type of helplessness witnessed every day in Nigeria, where poor Nigerians are left vulnerable due to lack of proper systems and structures. It's not leadership problem, it's system. Because I heard people be saying that, he say in Singapore that the constitution says this, that should tell you that is the system. Why America is doing what is doing, because the system, you have to put a system. It's from system you determine the type of government and governance you're going to have, and then the type of leaders you're going to have, the institutions. You will have system and then begin to build institutions on top of it. That's how it's done. System first. Put system in place. Then every other thing will come. So the body life of this 28-year-old Southern Urobo young man was snuffed out by this policeman from the north, Usman Nuru, who apparently had no connection with Mene. To Usman, Mene was just an antelope, bushmeat that needed to be gunned down, hunted down, and probably eaten. Who knows? You see, under the mediocre colonial system, everyone is a slave. Everyone is a stranger, an unknown criminal, or worse still, an animal that could be shot at any time. The geopolitical scramble is to make sure that people are divided, that people are not connected, and therefore weakened and ready to be conquered. Of course, their resources hijacked, stolen, and shared between the colonizers and their representatives, the political, traditional, and religious puppets that are the representatives of the colonial monsters. That's what we talk about: external colonization and internal colonization. External colonization cannot happen if we don't have agents that are carrying on internal colonization, oppressing the people, selling the people to the external colonizers. They work hand in hand. This is unlike the well-established merit-based indigenous systems that we had. In those systems, everyone came from a known family, kindred, clan, community, or town, and can be traced, tracked down properly, and properly identified, investigated, and could be held accountable. That's what we had before the colonizers appeared and destroyed everything that we held there. In that indigenous system, oppressors, criminals, political, traditional, and religious leaders were not faceless or distant. They were part of the grassroots, and they lived among their people, so it was difficult to hide. In those days, The work of indigenous security officials, like military and police, was to protect territorial integrity and keep the people safe and protected, not hunting the people down like animals. Of course, there were evil leaders. Like one of our shows, we said, evil did not start today. If you go to the Bible, the story of ancient times, you see that human beings are not really different. They've been like that. Anger, jealousy, envy, all these things that you see human beings today exhibit, human beings in ancient times had those too. So evil leaders did not start today, but under the indigenous system, they lived among their communities. They lived in their communities, close to their people, the people that they lead and represent. They were in the midst of their people. As a result, they could be tracked down to their families and communities. What this means is that their evil activities could be properly documented, reported, investigated, and prosecuted. There were consequences for bad behavior because the people held their leaders accountable. Their leaders were not staying in Aso Rock, far away, Abuja. Their leaders were in their midst with their family members. Their leaders did not keep themselves in their midst and kept their children in England or America, where the people cannot have access to them. No, their leaders had their children in the same education system, in the same market, everything. That's how it was then. Power belonged to the people, and the people had a say. They had leaders, but the people had a say. Under that system, the indigenous system, development began from communities where people lived, where people belonged, not in a strange, distant city somewhere, where everyone was made to become a stranger and a foreigner. In cities, association between people reduced to mere artificial and vague interactions. Anyone could dupe or cheat anyone. Why? Because there are no real connections between people, even in marriage and religious relationships. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know the roots. You don't know where they came from. You know nothing about them, about their families, nothing. It's just whatever the person tells you. And to make matter worse, you don't have systems to use to verify what you're being told. Because like here, where we have systems, you could do background check. You could do background check, you pay, and do background check to know who you're dealing with. But no, they took away our indigenous systems. The one that they brought, not properly implemented, weakened. Why? So that we will not develop, and that will make it easier for them to conquer us and steal our resources. That is why you see what is going on. It's not because we are bad people. No, we're just victims. All of us, we're victims. How do you know? When Nigerians travel to other countries where they have systems, they do well. They don't go there and become criminals or begin to do anything that they shouldn't do. Most of them do well. Of course, you have criminals everywhere in all the countries. But without saying that majority of Nigerians are good people. The problem is the system. So this means that any democratic system that goes from top to bottom is an inverted and oppressive system. There cannot be checks and balances in such system. There will not be accountability, because the main ingredient of democracy, which is the people, demo, has been taken out. So it can work. That's not the meaning of democracy. Democracy without checks and balances is not democracy. Is there anything else but democracy?
Yes, in the final analysis, the peoples of Nigeria who are living in the torment of unitary Nigeria will have to step forward to begin to join the task of saving themselves from impending doom. There's already bad weather. There's already rain falling and destroying things. But the one that is now the deluge that will come if we fail to arrest the situation is why we're making this short appeal to open your eyes to where that calamity is coming from. We have identified that constitution of Nigeria as the source of all your misery and the collapsing environment in which you live. And so we are pointing you to, we want you to be able to identify who the enemy is in this complicated battle. The enemy is anybody that subscribes to that constitution, that 1999 constitution. He could be a candidate contesting election. He could be political party. All the political parties in Nigeria subscribe to that constitution. It could be supporters of the candidates. It could be people who go to vote in the election under that constitution. They are the ones, but if you were looking for who, because some are hoodwinked, some are deceived. The ones who are deceiving the others are the ones who swear to defend and uphold that constitution. They know, because we have engaged them. We have told them these things to say the people are dying, but they grab that constitution with all their might because of the profit they make from it. They know that you are going to die. They know you are going to get more miserable. They are not explaining to you. They don't want you to know that it is because of the profit they will make for themselves. Governors every month 5 billion, 10 billion for them and their families, to which they are not on which they are not accountable to you for how they spend. In the 48 months they will be there 4 years, or 8 years if you are unlucky, 84 months, or is it 48? No, 96 months. And so those are the people tormenting you. The ones who subscribe to that constitution, the ones who swear to defend and uphold, the ones who go to election, political parties, all of the political parties. Now, what are you to do? What are you to do? Separate yourself. In the days ahead, Ninas will be drawing a line, will be making an altar call. All of those who stand with that constitution on one side, all of those who stand with Ninas to take down that constitution right at this time on the other side. That's what you will find in Nigeria in the days ahead, because we can't continue like this. And the torment has come to where those who who want to save themselves must now stand up and help take down that apartheid constitution that bring all these torments.
So if you want to do democracy, you start from the grassroots, the owners of the land, the indigenous people in the case of Nigeria and Africa, because we are indigenous people, we are indigenous of the lands we live in. So we talk about indigenous people. You can't balkanize people into artificial states and expect them to behave normal. That is colonization. Indigenous people mean that they live on their ancestral lands. You cannot impose something foreign from top down where they will not be part of. Something that they can't own as their own and expect a good outcome. It is upside down system. It's inverted triangle, inverted pyramid. Things do not function that way. This is why the Constitution says, we the people, that is, the people are making it by themselves. You do not make Constitution and impose on the people. Constitution means constituent members. Let's constitute. The people, the owners, the constituent subunits, we come together and make Constitution. That is, say how they want to live. Remember, when we talk about Constitution, we're not just talking about a book written. We are talking about constitutional arrangements, how the people organize themselves and how they want to be governed. That's what we talk about, self-determination. Self, by themselves. They are the ones that will decide how they want to live, how they want to be governed, how they want to relate with their neighbors. It is their decision to make, not your decision. You can't impose it on the people. Otherwise, that is not democracy. That is slavery. That is colonialism. In Nigeria, Nigeria is still colonized. Nigeria is not free yet. That's what we're talking about. Complete decolonization. Nigeria cannot be decolonized if the indigenous peoples are still enslaved. If the indigenous peoples lost their sovereignties, there's no freedom yet. It's not self. Democracy has to be by self, the people. We, the people. Self-determination. The people will say how they want to live, the terms and the conditions. You don't impose it on them. They will decide by themselves.
The struggle being waged in the Sahel is not a plea for charity in the form of sovereignty. It is a fight to reclaim our sovereignty. What kind of democracy are we talking about? That question mark deserves to be raised, considering that from the 1960s to 2022, if I take the case of Burkina Faso, we have been governed by so-called democrats who were installed, put in place by people sitting on the other side of the oceans. What has been the impact on the ground? Let me give a few examples. From 2022, that is from 1960 to 2022, that makes 62 years. Compared to the period from 2022 to 2026, that's 4 years. In 4 years, here is what has been accomplished. When the call was made to the Burkinabe people to face the current situation, starting in 2022, at the moment when I am speaking to you, the state has allocated 104 billion CFA francs to agricultural mechanization and inputs. And what results have we achieved? That means 104 billion, which is more. And this allowed us to reach 67,000 tons of cereals to feed the population. Isn't that defending human rights? If you have an accident right now and go to the hospital, you could die because we can't get a scan done. The cost has been reduced from 50,000 to 25,000. That's a 50% reduction during wartime. But from 1960 to 2022, this has never been done. We have just launched the recruitment drive called Operation 1000 times 5. 1000 times 5 means that each year we will recruit 1,000 specialist doctors over 5 years. From 1960 to 2022, those who established their democracy here never did this. Let me give another example. We have just opened the hospital, the largest hospital in our country, on July 29, 2025 in Bobo Dioulasso in cooperation with China. And I tell you, Your Excellency, that in our country, since 1960, it was on July 29, 2025, that the first operation enabling a kidney transplant was performed in our country. When someone was sick, they had to take a plane. It was on the other side that they went to have it done. Now it is done in Burkina, in a country that is at war. Another example I would add is the construction of 920 CSPS from 2022 to 2026 in a country that is at war. On December 21st, 2025, or even up to what we have just observed after taking stock, there are 38 newly built health centers in a country that is at war. I could name others as well. People say, but what are human rights? It's the right to life, isn't it? Let me give another example regarding the development of lowlands. The development of lowlands to allow farmers, that is peasants, to be able to take care of them. We have gone from 5,000 hectares since the 1960s up to now. We have gone from 5,000 to 25,000 hectares in 2025. But this is a country at war. And still in the field of agriculture, for plowing, for the peasants who own the land, we take tractors and go plow it for them for free. And in 2025, we plowed 58,000 hectares of land for free for the peasants. Is there any greater defense of human rights than that? And when I take, for example, the armed forces, among the 11 agreements where it was stated that we cannot purchase equipment elsewhere unless it's from France, and we cannot train our soldiers elsewhere unless it's in France, I inform you that from 2022 to 2025, we have independently formed around 20 rapid intervention battalions, all fully equipped with at least 500 soldiers per battalion.
So when we talk of we, when you hear we the people, Go take the Constitution and see. The first definition, the first question to answer is, who are this we the people? We the people, who is he referring to? The politicians, church leaders, terrorists, invaders, investors, or the indigenous people? If you know the answer, tell us in the comment section. By the way, we appreciate those of you that have subscribed, our new subscribers. This is a platform where you get all the information you need if you are interested in improving the lives of your people. If you're concerned about what is happening in Nigeria, if the situation our people find themselves in Nigeria, if that situation pains you, if it brings pain to your mind, if it's a source of concern to you, when you sleep, you don't sleep well because you're worried about how your people are faring, and you're thinking, what can be done? You're welcome to this platform. Please subscribe, share, and there are other platforms affiliated to what we're doing here. We want our people to be very informed, because in the days ahead, a lot of things will happen very fast, and we want our people to know what is going on and what we need to do. So we're saying, who are we the people? If you know who that represents, or you think should represent, please write it in the comment section. The we the people, is it the market people that just gathered in the market and say, okay, yeah, we the people. Is it the type of, sometimes we see these politicians, they gather bishop, they gather clothes and wear some people and tell them, you are bishops. They do all sorts of things that are horrible in Nigeria. Politicians are horrible in Nigeria. In fact, Nigerian politicians are the worst in the world. They're so callous. Who are we the people? The security agencies? Of course. We don't want to leave us without answers. We the people in Nigeria are the indigenous peoples, the ethnic nationalities, the indigenous ethnic nationalities. They are the we the people. Efik, Tiv, Idoma, Igala, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, all those. Some people say, are you saying we're going to have 200 countries? No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying in terms of organization, they will bring themselves together according to their core values. Because Nigeria is a multi-dimensional, multi-ethnic, multicultural, multilinguistic. It's almost like America. So you have to organize the people in a particular way. People that share values, they come together. So that you have subunits properly organized and put together according to their core values, according to their aspirations, according to what they want in life. They come together, and then you have smaller group and then you have bigger one, stating terms of union, how they want to relate with one another. That's how it's done all over the world. Because all over the world, everyone came from somewhere. English came from England. Scottish, Scotland. Welsh, Wales. They came from somewhere. They're indigenous. White man will never allow you to balkanize and join him together the way they did in Nigeria and some African countries. They never allow that, because they have this ethnocentric and supremacist attitude to life. What they do to others, they will never allow that to happen to them. So Africans should learn. Let's stop being naive, begin to think as we should, and insist on our rights. We have the resources. We should be able to say, this is what we want, but it takes organization. That's what we're saying. So everyone all over the world, that's how it's done. People came from places. They identify with their origin, their ancestral heritage. Even in a country as diverse as America, the Americans are further classified into Hispanics, Latinos, white Americans, Black or African Americans, American Indians, Asian American, Native Americans, because they understand that certain health, economic, and social disparities depend on these grassroots classifications. And for you to address certain inequalities, you must recognize these natural classifications. So if that is the case, why then are we being deceived in Nigeria and Africa? Why are we deceiving ourselves? Why is it that we have been made to believe that being indigenous to somewhere is wrong or is a sign of lack of civilization? Why are we shying away from embracing our indigenous identities? Who has been lying to Africans? Who has been lying to Nigerians? And why? Why is it so? Why are they trying, or why have they replaced our natural indigenous identities with new and fake identities? What is the purpose? If it's not religious identity, it will be political identity. Why? People are now claiming religious identities. Christian, Muslim, some even go further and say, I'm a Zionist. I was talking to an Igbo man that says, I'm not an Igbo man, I'm a Zionist. I'm like, wow. Call that colonial mentality, because that's what it does to human beings. Political identity. States. Anambra State, Imo State, Ebonyi State. I even hear people say Ebonians. I say, wow. Osun State, Ogun State. What are those political parties? What are they? Why the Balkanization? And for what purpose? To the extent that we keep fighting ourselves rather than fight a common enemy. Why the Balkanization? Why the fake identity? Why have they made us to embrace the fake identity, the artificial identities, and relegate our natural, organic identities to the background? What is the purpose? I will tell you. Because they do not do anything without a reason. Something that will benefit them and not benefit you. That has always been the case. So we can see that these fake and divisive identities have not worked for us. Even in Igbo land where I come from, you enter a family. One is Anglican, one is Roman Catholic, one is deeper life, one is shallow life, one is winner, one is loser. All those categorizations, fake, and they're fighting themselves. You need to hear them defending their God of men, or the dog of men, or God of men, or which one is it? Dog of men, God of men, no, men of God. Oh God, yeah, those things. They fight and defend themselves. You need to see Anglican and Roman Catholics fight defending their churches. Not defending Jesus, so it's not even defending God. Defending those entities. So there's a reason why these artificial identities were imposed on us. And we were brainwashed into defending them, fighting ourselves, defend fake identities rather than the natural one we are born into. Fulani is killing and enslaving Hausa people, even when they share the same Islamic religion. Have you seen why we said they are fake? Church leaders are manipulating, duping, and greedily stealing from our people, even when they claim to belong to the same religion, Christianity. That's why we say that these divisions are fake. It's for conquer. It's divide to conquer. They divided our people to conquer them. The intention is not union. The intention is not prosperity. The intention is not to lead you to God. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with prosperity. It has nothing to do with development. The globalists, with their big corporations, their big capitalist corporations, with their colonial strategies, brought all this to Africa for the purpose of dividing us so they can conquer us. That conquering means stealing our resources so they can use our resources to develop their lands, while they brainwash us into fighting and defending meaningless things that have no meaning. It's part of the divide to conquer strategy. You see, as humans, all humans, white, black, whatever, as humans, we are naturally biased towards our own kind. But things go worse when these artificial political and religious divisions were forced upon us. Because these balkanizations are with evil intentions, they are not authentic, they are not organic, they are not natural. As a result, they will not lead to genuine relationships, genuine long-lasting relationships that will lead to long-lasting and meaningful union with positive outcome for everyone. From beginning, their intentions were evil. Their intentions were not positive. Their intentions were not unity. They had in mind, division was in their mind. That's why they didn't do anything to bring you together. Because when you are together, you can fight a common enemy. So they fueled the division, and it's worse when it's even artificial. The natural division, which is our ethnic background, those ones are natural. They are easier to manage because as an Igbo person, I know what my culture and my tradition. I can defend it. I can tell you what it is because I was born into it. I speak my language. I eat my food. I can have so much to say about me being Igbo. But for most of our people, like the Christians, they have not even read the Bible. They don't know what the Bible said. It's what the man of God or whoever that is trying to manipulate them tells them that the Bible said, or however they decide to interpret it, is what our people will take. So they can't defend it. They don't know it. Their knowledge is based on what the foreigner, the person that wants to colonize them. The same thing with their system of government, democracy. It's wrongly practiced in Nigeria because it doesn't belong to them. So when you're trying to practice something that is foreign and you don't have enough information, you see, it will never work for you because they gave you A and didn't give you B. It's a new system. You're still learning. You don't know what it is. That's why I'm proud of our people that are going back to their way of marriage ceremony, the indigenous marriage ceremonies, because we'll be messed up in the area of marriages. And you know, when marriages are messed up, families are messed up, and the next generation, the children, will be messed up. A lot of things that were imposed on us in the name of Christian marriages, people don't even understand what they should be doing inside. They'll say, woman, submit 100%. Even if your husband is chopping off your head, submit to him because he's your head. Anyway, that's not our culture. At least where I come from. In Igbo land, we are never taught to submit 100% to the man. We recognize the man as the head of the family, but there is mutual respect. You never find an Igbo man in ancient time in the kitchen of his wife. Never. And he has his own obi also. So there was mutual respect, boundaries, lanes. We knew what to do. And even when somebody is getting out of hand, we have Omada, Omunna to come in and say, no, you can't do this. This is not how it's done. Of course, we're not saying we don't have some wicked families and communities like we keep saying. But the majority of the people, because we understood, we are born in it, we are indigenous to the practice, so we knew the checks and balances. But when something is foreign, you don't even know the complete information. You don't even have the complete information of how to implement it, let alone how to do check and balances for it. So that's why we're suffering under this fake system. imposed on us. And we're saying, no, we have come of age as Africans. We should be able to decide how we want to live. Therefore, we need union reset. Union reset. Some people say reformat. We need to start again. There can never, read my lips, there can never be a free and fair general election under the same terror facilitating, Fulani enabling, and caliphate imposed unitary constitution of Nigeria. It will not happen. Is it when P2B is going to Sokoto or Sultan of wherever to tie scarf or wear cap? Is that where he will stand and not defend democracy? No, he has even promised them. P2B has promised them that he will not touch the Sharia constitution. Meanwhile, he's there deceiving his followers that he's going to bring change with nonsense statistics that is like comparing apple to mango, comparing ugili. Yeah, ugili is a fruit in Igbo land, to watermelon. You know, but the statistics do not make sense. He will memorize them and then begin to mesmerize my poor people. What did they know? These are dishonest people. And when I see them, I shake my head. But you know what? Their days are numbered. Take it from me. Their days are numbered. So almost everyone, every person that is genuine, has agreed that the problem of Nigeria is the unitary constitutional arrangement. So there cannot be any consensus presidential candidates that will emerge or become the solution to the current Nigerian situation. That's not possible, because we have said that the problem is fundamentally flawed constitutional arrangement. It's like saying the problem is A and you're bringing B. That's deception now. That's self-deception. If the problem is this, let's solve it. Why are we not solving it? Why are we allowing ourselves to be distracted? It's time to fix our problem. America is coming to deal with terrorism. We, the indigenous peoples, need to take care of our land, of the things that have been aching us for years. We need to fix it. We need to address it. And we can. I want to give us a disclaimer. Please, beware of those that have been plagiarizing Nina's work, especially Biafra franchise scam. Some of you will be scammed. And do not say we did not warn you. Some of you already have lost your lives following what you don't know. You're planning again to go to Sokoto to do whatever you're doing. You've done the one you did in Finland. Honestly, you're going to go to the whole part of the whole world to go and declare Biafra. Finland declaration, Sokoto declaration. You're declaring Biafra everywhere. Please, if you are following us, if you're paying attention to what we're saying, be careful so that people do not dupe you of your hard-earned money. The problem with plagiarized work is that they will have some part of the work. They will take credit of some part because it's plagiarization. So when they tell you they did this, because you don't know truth, you will believe what they're saying. Meanwhile, they stole it. They stole what is plagiarized. So they only have part of the work. You know, whatever they're telling you is part of Nina's work. When you hear them talking about self-determination, talking of referendum, it's just like you have a big puzzle and somebody picks a piece of it and it's making money with it. Unfortunately, you know, my people, they say Igbo people love money. I know everyone loves money, but it's almost like Igbo people can make money from anything. Sand, they can make money from it. So this Biafra franchise is what they've been using to dupe people that are not paying attention. And I think they got a mark pilot. And they've done, I think maybe they're done with this other lawyer. What's the man? There's this lawyer in America, this American lawyer. I've forgotten his name. When I remember, I'll put it here. Since they're done with it, by the time it was Michael Zuckerman, you know, it's like everybody wants some part of Igbo money. So when either through their fake politics or fake freedom fighting, Igbo people have money that they're looking for who to give because they're desperate to fix whatever that is bothering them. So people have been duping them in different names, come say this, say that. So I think it's a turn of Mike Arnold to see him trying to smuggle Biafra franchise things into the work that Ninas is doing, and it's not okay to do that. What Ninas is doing is clear cut, step by step. If you go to Nina's Voice, the Daughters of Truth, you have a lot of videos that will tell you what we have been doing for how long. Bruce Fern, yeah, that's the lawyer, American lawyer I was thinking about, Bruce Fern. So different people come. I don't know how they get into that mess because self-determination, it's an international protocol. You can't dupe anyone that is sensible and genuine with it. If you're just ordinary Google, you'll be able to find out, how these things are done. The processes involved and everything. So it's easy for you to look and say, this thing is not making sense. This one, that one is not adding up. And then you just know that this is, there's some scam, going on. And then you take yourself out of that place. So one day you will realize that you are being duped if you don't pay attention. So that is why we're saying, please, for those that are following us, those that are paying attention to what we're saying, what Ninas is saying, Daughters of Truth, and then Moment of Peace. What we're saying is unambiguous, it's very clear, step by step, processes that can make sense to you. We have not left anything in the shadow. We have put everything out there for people to understand. The freedom we are talking about, the union reset we are talking about, it's not going to favor only Igbo people. It's going to favor all the indigenous ethnic nationalities, irrespective of their population size. Everyone will benefit from it, and we fix things so that everyone will be taken care of. It's not one-sided thing. How can what you're talking about Biafra now help people in Middle Belt, where the actual carnage, is going on as we speak now? So you see, that cannot be the solution. Follow Nina's movement, and then you get all the information you need. Thank you so much for being part of this show, and continue to subscribe, please, so that this message can go out to the people. We need more subscription. Thank you.